list is going pretty good.
I was just thinking, I was like, I was thinking yesterday, I was like, Orenburg's almost back. Carson's kind of been lights out. This is going to be great. This will be like the first time that they're both healthy. And then
Yeah.
shit just hit the fan and everything else.
Yeah.
Also here, what's going to happen? I mean, Smith has 2 more years beyond this one left, so I don't know. I know shoulders are trickier than elbows when it comes to recovery, and a good example is that thoracic outlet syndrome that guys keep coming down with. That could take. There's no automatic timetable with that. Whereas Tommy John, it's going to be about 18 months, 12 to 18. So it's weird that there's this controversy between Smith and Cora, because I'm assuming Cora is going to be here for at least another year after this one, and maybe beyond, and so Smith kind of has to deal with him, and one of them clearly threw the other under the bus, and I feel like the Red Sox were. I don't usually back the Red Sox because, like I said, they struggle with the truth when it comes to a lot of things. But like I said, I mean, we saw it on video. The recent stats don't really reflect, an injured player. So, I mean, I kind of feel like Smith was basically trying to put the blame on Cora, and I'm not sure that's fair or right. I mean, where do you guys stand on that specifically?
I mean, for me, I didn't think Cora was a big Smith guy to begin with. I remember telling you that in one of my interviews for this podcast. Was the first 2 weeks of the season, you rarely saw Smith after the first game of the season. So the first game went by, and then after that, he just kind of wasn't even in there. There were a couple blowouts that they even had him warming up, and they never brought him in. So I didn't know if that was like a we don't trust you type thing, if he just loved Joe Kelly, because Joe Kelly was in a lot of games to start the year. And now maybe I'm thinking maybe he was a little banged up, and maybe that first game of the season, I believe it was first game of the season, he came in, and then he was part of the Joe Kelly blowing there, right?
He was,
against
yeah.
Tampa.
Yeah,
he
loaded the bases or something.
Yeah, exactly. And, after that, we didn't see him for 2 weeks, basically. I wonder if he really was a little banged up and then, didn't have to go on the DL type of thing and said, he told everybody, I'm good. And maybe now he's just trying to save state because, like you said, 2 years left. Any of these shoulder injuries between Thornburg, Pomeranz, Price, Smith, Jay Groom, they all benefit the Red Sox, not the player, because how are you supposed to get paid on a performance that you didn't do yet? So I think Carson Smith makes like $850K right now. How are you supposed to say I get paid $8 million if you have nothing to show for it?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, when a player like causes, their own injury and basically to get lost for the season, why should they get paid?
Not a good look.
Yeah,
not a good look.
Not helping your stock out, that's for sure.
I mean, the Fortnite conspiracy people could be like, oh, he just wanted to play more video games, and
that's it. I mean, we should go to the booth and talk about Fortnite.
Apparently he was in that crowd. But, yeah, here's another thing. I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter, but I wrote a blog entry last night about the actual trade itself for Carson Smith. And before we get to that, let's just look at a couple others real quick. Erod for Andrew Miller, and Miller was only going to the Orioles for a few months, and then he was walking because he was a free agent. But you still make that deal, don't you? Like even with all the complications, I definitely still make that deal.
He was never going to be used the way he was. He would never thrive the way he did in New York, the way he would have in Boston. We wouldn't have used him that way. He would have never had the chance.
Right. And then the other comparable scenario was in 2016, Aroldis Chapman was sent to the Cubs from the Yankees, and then the Yankees got Gleyber Torres, who was not only a top prospect within the Cubs system, but one of the top prospects in all of Major League Baseball. And then 3 other prospects came over with him in that deal. So you make that deal every time too, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, now those guys were both rentals. You know, they were being used for 3 months, and that's it. You know, for a deep playoff run. One of them worked out very well. You know, and Miller, unfortunately, I think they lost in the ALCS that year to the Tigers when. They lost to the Royals that year in the.
Yep.
So the difference with Smith here is we gave up nothing for him. We gave up Wade Miley, a career 406 guy.
Thank God we gave up Wade Miley.
And we got Price at the time too, so it's not like, you know, so literally that was nothing. And then another guy named Jonathan Arrow, who was a minor league pitcher, still is a minor league pitcher 3 years later, pitching to a 4.87 ERA. Probably won't be in the majors, and if he is, I can't imagine he'll hang around very long. You know, if he's pitching like that at the minor league level. So those are the 2 guys we got back, and then we got Elias back in the Smith deal. But Smith was not a rental. We gave up nothing for him, and we were getting him for 5 years.
Yeah, no, it was a great trade, and even the Andrew Miller trade. I mean, the E-Rod for Andrew Miller. The Red Sox, their biggest mistake with that trade was just not signing him in free agency, because you could have had E-Rod and Miller back for free.
Yeah,
you could have yankied it.
Yeah, yankied it. I mean, Chapman, everyone knew Chapman made a deal with the devil years ago to throw 104 miles an hour, but everybody knew that he was going back to New York.
Everybody in Major League Baseball knew what was going to happen after they got to the World Series.
Yep.
And the Red Sox never really had a plan for the bullpen. I mean, wasn't Koji projected to be the starter in early 2015?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was like the long relief guy too, I think, at one point.
Yeah, and Tozawa still was formidable at that time. Yep. But getting back to this though, why did that trade happen? Because other GMs were like, geez, we could have given a better package for that, you know, and just everybody was blown away that deal happened. And the reason why I'm asking this question is, what did the Mets know? What did the Mariners know when they made the deal?
Probably the same thing the Padres knew when they gave up
hand.
Pomeranz.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Another example of just damaged goods. I mean, we gave up Anthony Espinosa.
That was criminal, though, with San Diego. Like, they legitimately, covered up stuff.
Oh,
yeah, they did. And I mean, what's worse, them covering up something or the Red Sox saying, we'll still take the guy?
Right.
Definitely the latter.
Well, it worked out, though. It's worked out.
I like Pomeranz. I'm a big Pomeranz guy. I don't think Espinosa is going to be a Chris Sale. He might be a Drew Pomeranz in the 2-3 hole, but, you have it now or you have it later. What's the difference?
He might be the next Henry Owens, too.
Oh, God.
I'm sure he has a better fastball.
You remember when he was untouchable?
Yeah, he was up here in Portland. He was like 10 or 12-0 or something.
Down here in Pawtucket, he was just the talk of the town.
Yeah, it's just crazy. That's why, I don't get crazy about these pitching prospects really, but I just feel like for Smith to be brought in for basically nothing, I think Dombrowski kind of knew. I think they made him aware of the fact that Smith was not healthy and was probably going to need Tommy John. And that's why he was able to be traded for a lesser package, because go back to 2006, okay?
All right. We're in 06.
We're in 06.
I'm like 12.
Could you imagine Theo Epstein trading Jonathan Papelbon for Sean Markham from the Blue Jays? That's what happened. Yeah. That is what happened with the Carson Smith deal. Like, why would you have done that? I mean, he pitched to a 2.31 ERA that year, appeared in 70 games, appeared in 11 games in the month of September, didn't give up a single earned run in the final month of the year. But something must have happened to his elbow towards the end, I feel like. And Dombrowski, because there was 5 years on the deal, I think he he just took a chance and made the trade, because if you lose him for 12 to 18 months, you're still getting him for at least 3 to 3.5 years.
Yeah, in his prime too. I mean, he's only 28.
Yeah, and I just feel like stuff was known, and then today with the, where the tug of war between Smith and Cora has apparently surfaced, with either with both of those guys basically putting blame on the other.
Yeah, they're pointing fingers right now.
I'm just wondering if there was character issues on top of that. It's just a strange situation. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a trade like it, and I don't know.
I like the trade still to this day, and even if Carson Smith has surgery tomorrow and is out the entire year, I think it's a good trade. I think, like you said, we gave up nothing for him, and if he can come out and help us in 2020 win a World Series, even if he pitches 20 innings and all in the playoffs, I mean, we win the trade, right?
We got rid of Wade Miley, so that's what matters, right?
He was our winningest guy in 2015. Once Lavelle took over.
I wish the Red Sox could pay me for not doing anything like they paid Porcello and Miley. They literally got traded, and they were like, all right, you want $30 million a year each? Yeah, sure. No, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Just take it. It's cool. We don't need to see it.
Right. So, I thought it'd be fun to just kind of share this on the podcast. I did a tweet earlier where I said, create your own conspiracy. And I said,
I saw that.
I said, Carson.
And the responses are great.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go through them right now. I think the audience will enjoy them. So for everyone watching now and everyone who will be listening, again, the tweet was create your own conspiracy. And then underneath I said, Carson Smith really injured his shoulder because he blank ... So everybody had to fill in the blank. And one of the funniest ones was actually a GIF of a rabbit strangling a chicken. So basically he was choking his chicken, or as Kev D _18 said, cranking it too hard. And that was a popular answer. Another person gets a little more creative. Scott, whose Twitter handle is @BringYourOwnP, says he flew too close to the sun while reading War and Peace. Wrong clubhouse for that. Another person, Triple Shy, says has no EQ. I don't know what EQ is. Do you guys know what EQ is?
EQ.
Maybe it's IQ. I don't know. But apparently he has no EQ, so that was another one. Let's see. Let's go down. One guy said he blew out his shoulder doing an incorrect reach-around technique.
Got to stretch before that.
Well played. Well played, yeah. Let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling through this. I didn't actually write them out. Another person just wants to blame Farrell. Rick Morgan says he was misused by John Farrell. So everything wrong with this world is probably John Farrell's fault.
That's the new meme. Like, it was the thanks Obama meme for a while. Now it's just thanks Farrell.
Yeah, exactly. Scoopa Troopa says he hung out with Jacoby Ellsbury and contracted you-know-what-itis.
That's a good one.
A couple people blaming it on Fortnite with David Price.
David Price Fortnite Club.
That's it.
Oh, here's my new favorite. I'm only seeing this now for the first time. Zach Sokolis. I'm not good with last names, as we know. Yeah. His theory is he threw his phone reading one of my tweets and figured a broken phone is better than reading my tweets.
Wow.
Well played. Well played.
Got him.
Yeah, so...
Those are great.
Another one says he was carrying David Price. I could see that.
I mean, is he wrong, though?
Yeah, or, I don't know, carrying Pablo Sandoval might also do it.
I mean, it's a big boy.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the fake conspiracy theories on Carson Smith. So